I wrote this book, The Secret Language of Influence, to create a 400 level sales training, because one thing we don't pay attention to, in fact it's the most neglected area of any kind of training, whether it's leadership, management, or sales, is the actual words we use to influence others. So in this book, I'll offer you 3 quick tips from it, but in this book you will learn some specific ways to motivate people to buy, to motivate people to say yes, whether you're selling ideas internally in your organization or whether you're selling externally to buyers out in the marketplace. A couple of really good points here. Well, first of all, I want to tell you something kind of funny. This book, The Secret Language of Influence, my original title was going to be Buyers Are Babies, How to Change Them Before They Stink Up Your Sales. That didn't go over very well. The editor said it was the worst title he'd ever heard in 30 years of being in the publishing industry. So it was a nice try. We came up with this, and I'm happy with it. It's a great, catchy phrase. Let's talk about some language skills. First of all, you want to know the difference between the words if and when. In my sales life, as I work with people that sell on the phone in particular, but also face-to-face, when a seller says, if you become a client of ours, they're sending a completely different message than when you become a client of ours. Can you tell the difference? If is somebody that kind of lets life happen to them. I hope it goes well. When is somebody that believes in a future, believes in a happy ending. If versus when. Pay attention to that language, both in print documents, when you're creating letters or emails, as well as in your language you're using with buyers. Another thing you want to pay attention to is what I call ambiguous terms. Let me give you an example. The worst thing we can hear as salespeople: we're okay with our current situation. That's a killer phrase. We're okay with our current situation. It's a total blow-off. However, as a sales pro, you can find ways to break down the words within that phrase and continue the dialogue. So you do it something like this. Which words are ambiguous? Which words are undefinable in there? What does okay mean? You hear that phrase, you would say something like, oh, when you say okay, does that mean mediocre? Because okay seems like a mediocre word to me. Is your situation great or just mediocre? The final thing, watch out for the word why. I grew up in selling being taught that when somebody didn't buy from me, I needed to ask them why. But why is a horrible word, and it should be abandoned by sales professionals. Think back when you were growing up and you got beat up with the word why. You told your dad you were going to go on a vacation somewhere and with some friends, and he thought you were absolutely out of your mind. He's not going to let you out of the house for a long road trip with a bunch of crazy college dudes. So he said, why would you do that? Why would you do something stupid or dangerous? Why? We got slapped around growing up with the word why for so many years. It carries a lot of baggage for people, and we need to be sensitive to that. So don't use the word why when you're asking somebody a question. Use the word how instead. How did you decide that this wasn't a good fit for you? Use the word how instead of the word why. So those are 3 tiny tips out of a ton of tips you'll find in this book and in my training as well. And I suggest you pay really close attention to your words, maybe more than you have ever done before. You will get that help in The Secret Language of Influence.